you want to live your life. Isn't that wonderful?
It is. I think if more people knew what this was like, they would do whatever it takes to achieve it.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm doing it now by talking to you because, hey, that sounds good. Retiring at 34, that sounds wonderful. And you now work with a company called Send Out Cards. Is that correct? Send Out Cards?
That's correct. I've been with them for, basically since the beginning, since 2004.
Since 2000, okay. And how did you get involved with Send Out Cards? How did you find out about them?
It's kind of an interesting story. I was, the guys that told, I was number 899 to join Send Out Cards, and if you guys know anything about multi-level marketing or, network marketing, this is, when you join a company that early, you're really early. These companies, some of these companies go on to have millions and millions and millions of people around the world, and I was one of I was 899th person to join. What happened was the guys that, I met a guy on the internet on the Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad forums, actually, and he was talking about a way to follow up with customers, and I had a business that wasn't super profitable, but I had a lot of customers, and I wanted to try and sell some of those customers some of our higher-end products. I wanted to be able to sell some of those customers products that made me more commissions, get some more referrals. So I contacted the guy, and he showed me this system called Send Out Cards, and it basically they send a greeting card or a postcard for you so that you don't have to do all the work. And it's really affordable. It's actually cheaper than store-bought cards. It's crazy how they do it, but I guess they leverage technology, to do it. And so I started with this company called Send Out Cards, not to do it as a business, just to use the system. And what I found was that the more I did it, the more people started calling me about it. The more people said, "Wow, how'd you do that? Is that something I can use for my business?" And so now, that became my main business. That other business went away, and now Send Out Cards is what I do full time.
Wow, it's funny. When I first heard about Send Out Cards, I thought it was such a silly idea. I said that doesn't make sense, right? I think that might have been around 2007, 2008, probably, maybe earlier, maybe later. I'm not exactly sure. But when I heard it, I just thought it was such a silly idea. And then I had a friend, Jackie. She told me about it. She's actually blind. And she told me, and the way she explained it, it made sense to me. I said, wow. And then that's when I got involved. That was around 2010. So, I guess if it was explained to me in a different way, I might have jumped on it. But it wasn't explained to me, it was just like, I Send Out Cards. It didn't make sense at the time.
Well, we're guys. I mean, I think for guys, when you talk about a greeting card business, it doesn't, for me personally, I wasn't a big card sender. You know what I mean? So for me, greeting cards wouldn't. If you told me 8.5, 9 years ago that I'd be involved in a greeting card business for almost 9 years, I'd tell you you're crazy. Because it wasn't the kind of thing that I thought was sexy or cool. I was a technology guy. I'm a geek. Let's be honest. I'm a computer geek, and so I used to sell technology products and websites and internet. And I never thought I'd be in a greeting card business, but the thing about the greeting card business that's interesting to me, especially compared to most other network marketing companies, most other home businesses, if you're not familiar with what network marketing is, for people that are listening, most other home businesses that you can start from home very affordably, you can only sell to friends and family and people around you. You can't take that into a business and sell that into a business. But Send Out Cards is actually a product that a lot of businesses want to use and need to be using A lot of professional people that are in the sales world know they need to be using a product like this that could help them grow that business. And so I think it's one of the things that's really exciting about Send Out Cards is, man, there are lots of successful business people that know that they need to use a product to follow up with their customers. And so you can go sell to larger businesses. You don't have to just sell one-on-one.
Right. I tell you, now this industry. Tell me, let's get this right. Is it a $7.5 billion industry, or is it a $100 billion industry? What is it? What is the numbers on the greeting card business and
just
gifting
in the
business?
U.S. Just in the U.S., the greeting card business is $7.5 billion with a B. That's just in the U.S. But at the same time, Send Out Cards now not only just does greeting cards, but they also do gifts. Guys, if you want to impress your lady, we've got Valentine's Day gifts. You can go to the website, you can send a card to your lady and put a little gift in there, and it's a great way to impress the ladies. We've got gifts for the kids. I didn't even know what it was when I sent it to a friend, but Elf on the Shelf. Like, I had no idea what Elf on the Shelf was. But I sent it to my friend's, kid for Christmas one year, and now 2 or 3 years later, Elf on the Shelf is like one of the hot things, So we've got gifts, we've got gift cards, we've got food, the brownies are delicious. Gifts and gifting is another, $90-something billion business. If you add the two together, that's a $100 billion business right there. Send Out Cards is also expanded into, like, promotional products, so, like, I'm drinking coffee right now out of a mug that I made on the Send Out Cards website with pictures and things like that on it. So you can put your logo on there. You can put your family photos on the mug, T-shirts, mouse pads, iPhone cases. I'm talking on an iPhone right now with an iPhone case. There's a picture of my weird, unusual hairless cat on it. So the market is expanding, and that's just the U.S. We're also in Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore. And if you add all those up, I don't even know how much that is. It's probably, a couple $100 billion.
Wow. Now, the company is located in Salt Lake City, Utah. Have you ever been to the headquarters?
Oh, yeah. I've been there many times, including when we were first starting out and we were basically in a garage. And now
a garage. Holy moly!
It was a nice garage, but it was a garage. It was one of those steel buildings that they put up, and the guy who owned it, he was at the time he was the president of the company, and he's since moved on. But he was one of the original founders, and he had one of these really fancy RVs, and. So this was a really big garage to park his RVs and his toys in. And I remember, I remember when they had a little office upstairs on the second floor, and I remember the day that they had grown so big that they had to go down to where the RV used to park, and they had to put carpet down to help, like, absorb the sound, and they moved customer service in there. And so they built cubicles like out where the RV used to park, and that was where customer service was. And we were on one printer at the time, which printed, I think, one sheet of 4 cards every 2 or 3 minutes, and someone had to take the sheet of paper and they had to flip it over and then print the other side. And now our equipment is like, I think each printer that we're on runs about $650,000 each, and we've got 6 of them. We've got special machines to UV coat the cards. We even have a special machine to fold the card and stick it in the envelope, and it's got tracking built into it. So as it goes through the machine, it scans a barcode to make sure that the right card goes in the right envelope, to make sure you get the right card to the right destination. And then we have another machine, which is given to us by the U.S. Postal Service, We actually won an award last year in 2012 for innovation from the United States Postal Service. And we're the largest sender of first-class stamped mail in the United States. And what happened is they gave us some of their equipment that they normally have in the post office sorting facility. We actually have a sorting machine that sorts by zip code and puts stuff in different carriers. So that way, when we actually take the cards to the post office, they're already pre-sorted, so that our mail gets there a little bit faster.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Young. I'm talking to Ben Fitz from Send Out Cards. And Ben, is it possible, are people making money with Send Out Cards?
Oh, yeah, lots of people are making money with Send Out Cards, and there's quite a few people like myself making a full-time income from Send Out Cards, and there's a couple people in Send Out Cards that make, crazy rock star type income. But just the average Joe, I mean, what if, and this is really reasonable, I mean, you could do this right away. What if you could make, $500 extra a month? I mean, would that be like having a free car payment? Would that be like one of your, or two of your credit card payments, so that those are just, maybe you use that money to pay those credit cards off faster. Maybe you save that money for a family vacation every year, and there's a lot of people making money like that in Send Out Cards.
Yeah. What do you call rock star money?
I'm not sure I can say on the radio because it's a friend of mine.
Right.
But it is literally rock star money. I mean, like 6 figures a month.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So each person that gets involved in Send Out Cards will be called the independent distributor.
Yeah. Everybody is an independent distributor. We work for ourselves, but we have a training program from the company to help everybody get started. You have a sponsor to help you get started and can guide you along the way. And then the company has certified trainings and Treat 'em Right seminars and different kinds of trainings around the country and actually around the world. We did Puerto Rico, we did Canada, we did Australia. These training seminars happen to help, because you're an independent distributor, right? And you may not have done a business before. You need some training.
So people are literally making a living through giving. I think
exactly.
That's wow. That's really cool. You could literally make a living by giving.
So let me just, for someone listening, let me explain that. Like, if you have a nutrition company, I love nutrition. I've been eating healthy. I've lost a bunch of weight, and I love that stuff. But if you have a nutrition product and you want somebody to take your product, what do you have to do? Well, first of all, you probably need to go lose some weight so that other people will see, wow, you look great. I want to try what you're trying.
Right.
But then they also have to actually try it, right?
Right.
And they actually have to take it for a while, probably at least a few weeks, maybe a couple of months before they see a difference.
Okay.
With something like Send Out Cards, because really you're just giving to somebody else. What happens is they show up at their mailbox, they open their mailbox, and they get a card from you, and it has a message about, hey, I'll be honest with you, yesterday a friend of mine's husband died. Yesterday a friend of mine's husband died in a car accident in the snow. And what's going to happen is, right now she's really down, but in 3 or 4 days she's going to get to her mailbox, and the cards are going to start coming in. And she is going to receive hundreds and hundreds of cards. How do I know? Man, I wasn't prepared to say this, but I'm going to tell you. About 4 years ago, my sister-in-law in upstate New York died in a motorcycle accident. It was all over the news and everything because she was a school teacher in upstate New York, and she died in a motorcycle accident. So I know how great it is, a company like this, where people can reach out to others and send them cards and let them know They raised about $11,000 or $12,000 for a scholarship program, and my sister-in-law died. I think they probably received something like 500 or 600 cards from people. Anyway, that's what our business is really about. Like, it's really about touching people, and you know, you can make a lot of money by doing that. That's kind of the funny thing, is you're doing the right thing, but because people like it and it touches them. The point about comparing it to other businesses was that, like, you can get the full experience. You can receive the full benefit of sending out cards simply by receiving one card that touches you, or by receiving a box of brownies. I sent a new customer a box of brownies the other day, and he went online and said, "I'm the greatest upline ever." And, you know, I didn't pay him for that testimonial or anything. He just started using the product. All I did was send him a box of brownies and say, "Hey, thank you. I appreciate having you as a customer."
Wow.
You know, and if everybody's doing that, like, what if you're a realtor and you make, you know, $5,000 or $6,000 when you sell a house, but you start sending a $10 box of brownies to thank people? What if they start going on Facebook and saying, "Oh my gosh, she's the best realtor ever. She sent me these delicious brownies"?
That's going to definitely help your business.
Yeah, and do you think it's worth it for $10 to send a box of brownies? You know, if you're maybe going to make several thousand on selling a house.
Right. Now, what exactly is relationship marketing, Ben?
Relationship marketing is the idea that you are not, your inventory is actually not the products that you're selling, but it's the relationships that you develop with your customers, and the relationships that you develop with your prospects, the relationships that you develop with your business vendors that you work with. So, if I'm in car sales, you know, I can go get that car from anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're selling some sort of super luxury custom car or something like that. I know that, you know, in New York City, how many Ford dealerships are there? I mean, I'm guessing, what, 30? Right?
Probably, sure, probably.
I mean, you know, it's not like there's just one. So if I were to buy a Ford, I could go to any of those car dealerships to buy that car. So they compete on things like price and other stuff like that. But what if instead of competing on price, they just worked really hard on developing and cultivating relationships with people, and people that have bought cars from them, that they kept in touch with them once in a while, that they sent them a thank you card, that they sent them something and said, "Hey, you know, come get a free car wash." You know, by cultivating relationships with people like that, they're going to make more sales. They're going to get service from them, right, because they're going to want to come get their car serviced there, and they make more money on servicing the car anyway than they do selling the car. So that's what I mean by relationships. You know, same thing with the real estate. You know, if you're developing relationships with these people, where they're going to want to come back to you when they have to sell their house, where they're going to refer their friends and family to you. That's what relationship marketing really is, and it can also be in the businesses that you do business with. Let's say that you do business with, I don't know, maybe let's keep with the real estate example. Let's say that as a realtor, you have an opportunity to work with a lot of other businesses. You've got a mortgage person that you deal with. You've got a home inspector you deal with. You've got lawyers you deal with. You've got other realtors that you deal with, right? What if you started sending all of them thank you cards at the end of the transaction? Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, they work with lots of other realtors. But what if that home inspector says, "Man, you know what, this is the only realtor that shows appreciation to me and really appreciates working with me"? What if I start sending that realtor referrals?
Or what about a restaurant?
Okay, so what about a restaurant? What about, as a restaurant owner, first of all, you know, reaching out to your customers and doing things like, you know, you can have a mailing list where people enter their birthday and you send them a coupon. You know, all you do is send them a card with a coupon to come in on their birthday or the week of their birthday for a free dessert. Mm-hmm. You know, well, now you're getting all these people to come into your restaurant. You know, that's marketing. But you could also do things like, you know, you can promote, what's your slowest day of the week? Probably a Monday or Tuesday, something like that, right? What if you used mailing list like that by gathering people's birthdays. That's the way that you develop your mailing list. But then you say, hey, look, we're having a special, come in on Monday because that's our slowest day of the week. You don't tell the customer that, but, you know, you send them some marketing saying come in on Mondays, you know?
Right.
There's so many different ways, actually, and I'm starting a webinar series on Wednesday called 40 Ways to Grow Your Business.
Hold on a second, Ben. Hold on 1 second, Ben.
Sure.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Young, another segment of What's in Your Hand Radio at WHCR 90.3 FM, and I have Ben Fitz on the line, entrepreneur, teaching us about send-out cards and how to use send-out cards. How wonderful this business is. Continue, Ben.
I was just going to say that I am also doing a webinar series starting Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, called 40 Ways to Grow Your Business. And actually, we're talking about different ways that business owners can grow their business, grow their mailing list, develop customer loyalty, and generate referrals using send-out cards, using greeting cards.
Wow. Yes. You know what? I'm in there. Wednesday at 9. I don't think I have anything scheduled. I'm in there. Go ahead. You gonna say something?
No, I'll send you the information to make sure you can get on.
Okay.
And if you want, I'll send you the information so that your listeners can hop on. It's a free webinar series. What I'm actually doing this time is I'm recording it because I'm going to send it to a transcriber. They're going to send me back the written version, and then I'm going to turn that into a book. So I just record the audio, and they're going to help me turn it into a book.
Wow. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, Ben, what is appreciation marketing?
Appreciation marketing is just the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's basically what appreciation marketing is: doing the right thing. You know, when you go into a restaurant, to bring up the restaurant example, what if you go into a restaurant and you send them a card saying, "Thank you. You guys always have the best food. I always have the best time when I come into your restaurant. Your staff does a wonderful job, and Susie, our server this week, did excellent. I just want to point out that she's a really great asset to your business." What happens is, what do you think is going to happen next time you come in that restaurant? That girl Susie just got a compliment. Her boss probably really appreciated that. Most of the time, they probably only hear when they do something wrong. So she just got a compliment, and you also complimented the owner and the staff on how great the restaurant is. Next time you come in, they're probably going to recognize you, you know? If you put like a little photo in there or something like that, they're probably going to recognize you. And I've heard stories of my friend in Connecticut. You know, he's got local businesses where they put his card up on the wall, you know? And, I mean, he feels like a rock star now when he goes in these local businesses because they all know who he is, just because he sent them a thank you, you know, because people that are in business a lot of times, we only hear about the negatives. We don't hear about the positives. A friend of mine up at Foxwoods went to Foxwoods with his wife for their anniversary, and he sent, actually, I think it was for her birthday, was the first time they went, and he sent them a card and a box of brownies. Well, Foxwoods contacted him, and they basically comped him for the next trip. So then he went for his anniversary, and they comped him. And all he did was send him a thank you card for, hey, you know what? You guys took care of my wife and her friends for their birthday. I really appreciate it. Here's a box of brownies. Thank you. Can you imagine? That's what appreciation marketing is. You're just doing the right thing and showing appreciation for other people, and yet it also can benefit you as a person, as a business owner, etc.
Ben, hold on a second. I want you to listen to this.
Sure.
I want you to listen to this. Hold on.
What if I could introduce you to a single word that could change your life for good? What if that word could guide you to who you are and where you can make a difference? It's a unique word, one that you may or may not know how to define, but a word that if acted upon could ignite your value to the world. Whether you know it or not, you are unique. There's genius in you that no one else has. The world needs you, and this word can help deliver what you have to offer. The word is promptings. is defined as a thought or a feeling that guides you. It usually shows up as an intuition to reach out in kindness to others. Everyone has them. Few people act. Not because we don't want to, but because we don't have the time or we simply don't know how. I've learned the value of this word because I ignored a prompting to say goodbye to my older brother prior to moving away from home. A few months after moving, I received the tragic news that my brother had been killed. I would never have the chance to say that goodbye, but I would have the chance to make a promise and call upon you to help me deliver it. That promise was to rise up and create a system that would help millions to act on their promptings every day. That system has been created. The results are found in thousands of stories where people are being thanked. Sons and daughters are being told they are loved. Spouses are keeping their flames alive. Co-workers are getting recognized and customers are being appreciated. And through it all, those sending the messages are finding themselves in the process. We're not just talking about a system or a company here. We're talking about a movement, a mission to make the world a better place. That mission has taken on a name. We're known as Send Out Cards. This is the place where you can be shown what to do with your promptings. You can go online to our system, choose from over 15,000 greeting cards, or better yet, create your own. Type a heartfelt message, add pictures, attach gifts, and even create gifts with the pictures you have collected. What we have found is that when you start acting on your promptings, you learn that life is to be celebrated. You learn that the time to say nice things to people is when they're living, not after they've died. You learn that when you act on promptings, you receive more and more of them and they get bigger with time. Today's prompting is to say thank you. Tomorrow's is to make a sizable contribution to a charity in need. For your promptings to reach their full potential, you need resources. You need freedom with your time and your money so you can show up as a solution to yourself and others in need. That is the very reason there are two parts to the Send Out Cards mission. The first is to help millions act on their promptings, and the second is to provide a vehicle for financial freedom. People love to talk about this amazing concept. Who doesn't like greeting cards and gifts? From the beginning, our goal has been to provide anyone an opportunity to create residual income simply by sharing this concept with others. The key word there is anyone. Send Out Cards is no discriminator of persons. We don't care if you come from Yale or if you come from jail. We want you to be part of our cause. This vehicle for financial freedom is real. We have proof that it works. We want to help break you out of that job that is getting you nowhere. We want to give the stay-at-home mom a place to succeed and be recognized. We want to create financial independence for those who never thought it was possible. Our vision is to become a billion-dollar household name and expand around the globe. My friends, we are just getting started. Though we have already sent out over 80 million greeting cards, over 3 million gifts, paid out more than $50 million in commissions, become the #1 sender of first-class mail, and become the case study as the premier variable digital printing company in the world, my friends, we are still just getting started. You've seen companies like Netflix, iTunes, and Amazon revolutionize their respective industries. We're doing the same thing with greeting cards and gifts. We are aggressively expanding our product lines and the countries we do business in. We are currently executing a plan that will take us to over 130 international countries within the next 2 years. We are poised and positioned for massive growth. We would love you to come along on this exciting journey with us. If I could choose just one thing that you would remember from this message today, it would be that there is genius in you that no one else has. By acting on your promptings, you will not only find that genius, but you'll be sharing it with the world. I encourage you to join our cause. There is so much we can do together. Thank you.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Young, another segment of What's in Your Hand Radio, 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. I'm on the line with Ben Fitz, one of the top distributors at that company. You just heard that man speaking. You just heard that man, Cody Bateman, break it down, Ben. Ben, he broke it down.
Yeah, he did. I love it. You could be from Yale or you could be from jail.
Wow, man. And you know, that's what my show is all about. Like, Ben, when you hear What's in Your Hand, what becomes present for you?
When I think about, when you say, when I hear What's in Your Hand?
What's in your hand?
when I hear the phrase "What's in your hand,"
Yes.
I think about. I'm not sure. To me, it sounds like the thing that applies to me is a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Like
Okay.
that phrase. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I quite get the title of your show. Like, what's in your hand? And maybe you can explain it to me.
Well, what's in your hand means basically what it says. What's in your hand means what can you do? Your God-given talent. What was given to you that you bring to the world? And that's basically it, you know, and you know, discovering what that thing is inside of you and sharing it with the world is like exactly what Cody was talking about. Exactly what he was saying is what's in your hand.
Okay, I didn't. I apologize, but I didn't quite get it. But so what is in your hand? I got it now. So what's your talents? What abilities? One of the things that Cody said there was kind of interesting. I think a lot of people don't realize is we are all unique. We are all special. We are all like, you know, billion to one. The fact that we exist, you know what I mean? Like, everybody is special. And the fact that, you know, we're all unique and different, and what goes into creating a human being, no matter who you are, is a really special thing. And a lot of us, you know, maybe didn't have the best. I mean, let's face it, you guys are in New York, you know. A lot of us probably in New York probably didn't have the best background, you know. We probably didn't have the best family life. You know, we probably didn't have money. I'm not from New York, but I lived, you know how they said the other side of the track, so I lived right next to the track, you know. So I know what that's like a bit. I lived in California a bit, you know, in some really bad neighborhoods, and I know, you know, what that's like. And but a lot of us have been told when we were kids, you know, that we're not anything special. Or maybe, you know, it's the other kids that we went to school with that, you know, picked on us and teased us because, you know, we didn't have the money and we couldn't afford to do all this stuff. And, you know, maybe we're eating, you know, on welfare or food stamps or different things like that. You know, maybe we got the school lunches, you know, instead of being able to go out and afford, you know, to go out. And what happens is you begin to think that you're not good. You begin to think that you're not special. And what Cody was saying there was that we are all special. What your show says, what's in your hand, is that we all have been given some talents. I am a fan of graffiti. I grew up being a skateboarder, and I'm a fan of graffiti. And a lot of those people are really, really talented artists, and they're not necessarily being given the right tools. And I know you had some people on your show recently too, so we can bring this back to your show. But they're not necessarily given the right tools to show themselves as an artist, right? And so, you know, everybody has these talents, and you may just be. Your background may be that people have always told you you're not worthy, but if you can figure out what it is, you have something special to give. Everybody does. And anyway, I'm sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant.
Oh, man.
You get me passionate.
No, that sounds good. Well, let me ask me, who is Cody Bateman?
Cody is, he's from Salt Lake City, and what happened is Cody, I think he had a big family, like 10 or 12 kids, you know, and, you know, he had a typical family life, but he was a believer in God, and one of the things that happened was, as a kid, you know, his parents taught him some things, like his dad taught him to always take care of others. His mom, his dad always kept some money in his billfold. I think it was $1,000 as a kid. Always kept $1,000 in his billfold to be able to give to other people. And usually when they went out to dinner as a family, his dad would try and find other people that were deserving, that needed some, you know, and he would just pay randomly, anonymously, he would pay for someone's meal. his mom had a policy. They had a business growing up. The dad had a business. I think it was an electrician, and they had some money. So what they did was they built a nice pool and had some stuff like that. But Mom's policy was always that we never turn anybody away. You know, all the neighborhood kids can come over. Anybody can come over. Like, God has given us some stuff. Let's share it with everybody. And so that's kind of the philosophy that Cody has taken on as an adult now. Is I think he actually, because of inflation, now keeps $2,000. You know, to be able to hand and give to people
who, Cody?
when, you know, they're in need. And have the open philosophy of helping others.
Wow, that's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. And so, you know, he was a co-founder of this company, Sending Out Cards.
Yeah, he was. He started this. You probably heard some of the story there. His brother died in an accident, and he had a prompting to help people be able to communicate better, so that when their loved ones leave, they don't regret. I mean, they're going to regret it, right? But when someone passes away, something like that, if you can look back and you can say, "Man, I told this person how much I loved them all the time,"
right?
You know, and if you kept in touch, you know. I mean, it's like my parents are getting older. I'm moving to Texas to spend more time with them, you know. That way, when they do pass, I won't regret it. So that was why he created this company. But he had several ideas before this, you know, and technology wasn't ready yet. You know, at first he created a company where, remember those daytimers, those like personal organizers you used to carry around?
Right.
He created one of those, and you used to keep in touch with people and remember their birthdays and stuff. But his old system, you had to buy these cards and you put them in your daytimer, and you had to be organized. And I don't know about you, but I'm not real organized. You know, so like what happens? I go buy all that stuff and then I never use it, right?
Right.
So technology caught up and allowed him to be able to. He found a programmer, and they were able to create this system. And it's kind of funny, like when they first launched, what they'd do is they'd go to businesses. So like they'd go to a local business, like maybe somebody that sells hot tubs or sells boats and ski-doos or cars or whatever, or real estate. They'd go to different businesses, and they'd sell them on the system, and then they'd have to go back and they'd have to make cards for them. And that'd take a few weeks, and then finally, you know, they could launch the service for them. Now, all that stuff is instant. You can go on the website, right now. You can put your logo on the website right now. You can put your photo on the website right now, and you could send out some cards today that would be printed tomorrow and brought in the mail tomorrow. You know, so there's no, like, turnaround time. It's almost instantaneous. It's like the Netflix of greeting cards, basically.
Wow, that's pretty good. You know what? I'm really happy to be I'm a part of this Send Out Cards family, and I'm looking to, you know, continue to be a part of this family. Because I mean, well, let me ask you a question. As a radio host, what is the advantage for me being involved with Send Out Cards? I know what it is, but I'd like to hear your side of the story.
Well, I mean, there's several different things. One is a financial advantage to you because you are offering a great product or service that other people can use,
right,
to grow their relationships as well as to grow their businesses. So those people could try out Send Out Cards using your website, right? You could give them a free trial where they could send some cards for free. They don't even have to enter a credit card. It's a real free account. They try it out. They're going to like it. And when they sign up, you get paid for referrals. The other way is that you can also grow your radio show. You know, you interview a lot of awesome people on your show.
Right.
What if you send all of those people a thank you after the show?
Right.
That's actually how I got started in Send Out Cards. I was being interviewed for a radio show, and I sent the guy a thank you from my Send Out Cards account, because at that time I didn't intend to do it as a business. The guy called me a week later and said, Ben, you're the first person out of 62 people I've interviewed to ever send me a thank you card.
Wow.
I really appreciate it. Now, if the story stopped there, that would probably have still been pretty good, right? I mean, I probably got more radio interviews as a result of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not only that, but the guy then went on to say, how'd you do that? I can see it was done on a computer, but how'd you get your handwriting in the card? Because we can take your handwriting and put your handwriting in the card.
Right.
And I said, how'd you do that? Can I use this for my business? And that is how I really got started with Send Out Cards. And if you're doing that as a radio host yourself, you know, you're developing relationships. If your radio station is doing that with your advertisers, or the people who don't advertise, or the people who inquired about advertising but never actually bought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you think that the radio station is possibly going to get some of those people to come back to them and buy from them?
Right, that's right. They would. That's right. It's all about. You talked about it earlier. You talked about relationships. What is the gratitude challenge? What is that?
Awesome. Well, the gratitude challenge is an idea where you're going to do something nice for someone else once a day for 30 days, and we call it the gratitude challenge. The idea is that you're going to send one card of gratitude to someone else, expecting nothing in return. One of the problems people have is oftentimes they send something in gratitude, and then at the bottom they say something like, oh, the greatest compliment I could receive is a referral from you and your friends. You know, I mean, that is not really a card of gratitude. That's really a card where you want to receive a referral, and that's why you're sending the card, right? So card of gratitude is a card just saying, hey, Rick, I really appreciate you having me on your show today. You have a great radio show, and I'm going to do my best to help you get some more listeners and some more great guests. You know, that's a card of gratitude. I'm not actually asking for anything. In fact, I'm saying, hey, I'm going to see if I can help you promote the show. Hey, I'm going to see if I can help maybe refer some of my friends to be on your show as guests. That's a card of gratitude. Do that once a day for 30 days, and you're going to feel better as a result of it, but also you are going to be sending out to other people, right, and helping them feel better, too.
Absolutely. And they also make calendars, photo books, business cards, posters. Is that correct? Yeah,
the Send Out Cards photo store. So not only do we do greeting cards and postcards, and not only do we do gifts like brownies and Starbucks cards and, you know, gift certificates or gift cards, but we also have the photo store. And in the photo store, you can make calendars. You can make, I mentioned the mug earlier I'm drinking out of. You can have, the photo books are like take all your family photos and put them in a hardbound photo book. You know, like the things that if you were ordering those from your photographer would cost you a lot of money. You know, you can get one of those from Send Out Cards for $20, $30, $40. You can do canvas prints where you can put your photos right on a canvas that you put on the wall and it looks just like artwork. iPhone cases, Android cases, iPad cases, all sorts of different stuff from the Send Out Cards photo store. And if you sign up as a distributor, you can get commissions every time someone you know buys one of those products. Let's say you got a really cool iPhone case you made on your SOC photo store. How many of your friends are going to say, wow, that's really cool. How'd you do that? Where'd you get that? What if you could refer them to a place where you got a commission every time they went and they made an iPhone case? And then the people that they refer, you get a commission on them too.
Wow. Hey, Ben, we're at the end. I got to get ready for the next radio host. He's here in the house getting ready. And but I just want to ask you one question. What's going on? Who's leading the way in New York City with Send Out Cards?
Well, that's a great question. Who is leading the way? I think, Rick, you're leading the way. Right now, in New York City especially, there's a huge opportunity for Send Out Cards. If you go across the border into Connecticut or into, New Jersey, there's a lot of people doing Send Out Cards. But in New York City, I think there's a lot of people who don't know about send-out cards yet. There's a huge opportunity in New York City right now for someone to stand up and be a leader and take over. I mean, there's no reason why we don't have meetings of several thousand people in New York City. If we can get 800 people in Hartford, Connecticut, why can't we get 3,000 people together in New York City?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, Ben. Let's make it happen. I'm gonna be in contact with you, and we're gonna make this happen. All right, Ben?
All right. Thank
Man,
you so much.
you were great. You were awesome. And
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. And top distributor Ben Fitz with Send Out Cards. And we're gonna take New York for a serious. We're gonna take New York for a serious ride on prompting and making a difference. How about that?
I look forward to it. I can't wait to see who's going to stand up and lead in New York City.
That's right. And here's Cody Bateman sending us home this morning. All right, Ben. I'll talk to you later. All right.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Our world is blessed with numerous ethnic groups of people